Hello everyone and welcome back to gameplay recording pause because you entered a blocked scene. Some game, whatever. If people really like that, I might have fun with the titles. Don't worry too much. Anyways, we're back. Sodro has accepted his supervised life in the mansion. So again, I think this is is this the scene where he does the weeds? Not the drug. That'd be fun. Actually, a lot of people, they're like, oh man, he looks so high in the thumbnail. I'm like, no, dude looks just broken. Like he's accepted his position and is just numb from it all. That's kind of what I thought, Anyways, Sodro accepted his supervised life in the mansion, that he would be living under the same roof as two professional mages. Do they get paid? I don't think so, because professional would imply they get paid. Having experienced firsthand how dangerous that life could get, he was finally at peace with the situation. Even if he did not seem like it, he had thought it through his own way and he had thought it through his own way and come to a clear resolution.
それじゃあ、やっと本題に入れるわね。監視するとは言ったけど、どうやって宗十郎を監視するのか。そもそもあなたを監視する原因になった魔術とは何なのか。
Okay, we are doing
ざざっと説明させてもらうわ。
We are doing magecraft to let him live his life still. Perhaps he was brought up to listen closely to lectures about new information because Sodro suddenly looked attentive. Alice, on the other hand, kept her mouth shut in silent defiance.
最初に言っておくと、あんたをここに住まわせる期限は決まってるから。
Okay.
要はその期限まで誰にも私たちのことを喋らず、また勝手に死ななければ晴れて自由の身ってこと。
Why would he die?
ね、そうよね、アリス。
そうね。私たちを怒らせなければ、そういう可能性もあるわね。
Okay.
よし、いきなり話が食いちゃった。
Sodro's head dropped like he knew what was coming.
ちょっと黙ってて、アリス。あとあんたも黙ってろ。
Dang. She scowled at the two of them, already at her wit's end.
話を続けるけど、秘密保持のためにあんたを住まわせる場合、二次災害はどうしても避けられない。同じ家にいる以上、余計に秘密を見せることになるからね。アリス。
Now that Aoko mentioned it, Sodro could see her point. With their target of observation under house arrest, the disclosure of more confidential information was inevitable.
ちょっと待ってくれ。堂々巡りじゃないか、それ。
大丈夫、問題ないわ。だって、最後にはここで暮らした記憶ごと、私たちのことを忘れてもらうことにしたから。
Oh.
忘れてもらう？
そう。公園での一件から丸ごと全部忘れてもらう。ルーンっていう魔術系統があるんだけどね。その中でサクッと記憶を忘れさせるものがあるのよ。
Okay, rune magecraft to get rid of memory. Okay.
非人道的であるのは変わらないけど、命を消す代わりに記憶を消すってことで妥協して。
That's fair.
青崎、それは。
No.
悪いけど反論は却下。
Yeah, nobody, sorry.
で、肝心の忘却のルーンなんだけど、私もアリスも専門外だから、文献を探して習得するのに時間がかかる。
They gotta get the rune first, okay.
つまり、それが監視の期限ってわけ。私たちが忘却のルーンを見つけるまで、命を担保に口を閉じていてもらうわ。
I think this sounds kind of fair.
アリスはそんなややこしいことはせずに、五感全部壊してしまおうなんて言ってるけど。
That's not fair.
しずきくん、リビングスタチューとか嫌でしょ？
That's horrible. Sodro only understood about 80% of what Aoko had explained, and the last part about a living statue had gone straight over his head. He had tried his best to visualize what Aoko was going on about, but the only thing he could conjure in his mind was an image of the mascot creature Kitschy. See, I was going with like one of those Jizo statues, you know?
それは確かに嫌だな。
Aoko agreed with the bewildered Sojiro, neither one the wiser to the other's misinterpretation.
とにかく、遅くても1ヶ月で忘却のルーンは見つけ出せるだろうし、1回きりの実行なら、プラス2ヶ月ぐらいでなんとかなるわ。それまであんたにはここで暮らしてもらうわけだけど、 私たちについて無知のまま歩き回られると命の保証はできないのよ。そっちもこっちの事情を知らないのは気持ち悪いだろうし。なんで今から簡潔に現代の魔法使いの何たるかを教えてあげる。
Yeah, sure. If she's gonna make him forget it anyways, might as
それで
well.
少しは私たちへの勘違いもなくなるだろうし。
Oh. Oh, that's impossible. Not that she thought this country bumpkin had any idea of old or new anyway. The thought brought a smug grin to her lips.
洋館のことは後にして、まずは私たちの立場についてね。あ、でも1から100まで理解する必要はないから。
That's the best way to describe Nasuverse content. Like, don't worry, you don't need to understand everything right away. Sometimes they'll just say things and you'll have to let it wash over you, and then you'll understand later and go back and go, oh, that's what Rin was talking about.
どうせ門外漢なんだし、漢字言ったことだけしっかり噛み締めておきなさい。
Sojo nodded obediently to Aoko's professorial instructions. Ooh. This was Aoko's way of telling him not to ask questions when he did not understand something. And though Sojo had taken issue with her statement, he meekly obeyed, knowing better than to object now. Aoko nodded approvingly at his attentiveness and started her lecture. Her long, long lecture.
まず魔術師、魔法使いの話からね。魔術と魔法の違いは宗十郎には関わりのない話だからしないけど、それぞれ別種のものだと思ってくれればいいわ。
Capital M magic. Very important differentiation.
で、魔術師のことだけど、これは絶対条件として隠された存在でなくてはならないの。同業者に知られるのは仕方ないとしても、あなたみたいに関わりのない人間に知られるのは罪に当たる。ほとんど死罪クラスのね。
That's why it was such a big deal.
なぜかっていうと、魔術ってのは隠されていないと力が薄れてしまうものだから。
I forgot about that, right.
神秘の語源は閉ざすというギリシャ語だけど、魔術は限られた水着でなければ魔術でなくなってしまう。
Huh. Interesting. Come to think of it, aren't servants a unique form of mystic in that the more they're known, the stronger they are? That's interesting.
文明にとって未知なるもの、未開なるものは開かれていないからこそ。
I guess the
恐怖に値するの
folklore is
と同
also
じ
the
ね。
same way for that.
知られたら迫害されるから隠すじゃないの。未知で亡くなった魔術師というより魔術ね。明かされた魔術は力を弱めてしまう。だから隠匿するのよ。何より私たちの未来のために。
You mean being weakened when our arts are revealed? Okay, I was reading that. I'm like, what is that sentence trying to say?
魔術の仕組みはよくわからないけど、とにかく自分だけの秘密でないと弱くなるってことか。じゃあ青崎も弱くなってるのか？俺が見ちゃったから。
いいえ、別に。ここからはちょっと込み入った話でね。弱くなるっていうのはあくまで全体。それも随分と未来の話。汝、隠匿すべしって不分律は、この大元の仕組みが形骸化して、いつの間にか絶対のルールになっているだけなの。文明社会の法律と一緒よ。犯罪、不道徳を罰するのは、人間的であろうとする意識の高さと、それとは全く別の全体の仕組みを守るための構造的な結論でしょ。犯罪が罰せられるのは野放しにしたらせっかく築いた社会がうまく機能しなくなるから。で、私たちにとって犯罪にあたるのは神秘の一般化、低俗化であって、不道徳とか殺人とかはまあそれぞれの良心次第ってことで、基本的に罪にもならない。
Some would argue that they're even encouraged.
そんなろくでもない連中にルールを敷いたのが魔術協会っていう集まり、組合みたいなものよ。
I mean, I guess that is kind of what they are.
魔術を普及の神秘とせよというのは、魔術を魔術として永続させるために敷いたルールに過ぎないわ。
Dang, wouldn't it suck if all the magic in the world dried up? Oof. We'd have to go play Battle Network on the moon.
けど、その原則は絶対でさ、
I love how I can say that and some of you are like, and then others are you are like, what the frick are you saying?
これを破った者は魔術世界にはいられなくなる。いえ、実際問題として生きていくのが困難になる。私たちは私たちの、まあ、魔術師としての命、そういうのを守るために目撃者であるあんたを消さなくちゃいけなかった。そこ、同情とかしなくていいから。
Ah, they're more like rabbit eyes.
私たちの事情を知ったぐらいで遊園地のことを帳消しにしないでよ。私たちは私たちの判断であんたを殺そうとしたんだから、誰彼のせいってわけじゃない。恨むならきちんと私を恨んでちょうだい。ま、それはともかく。
That's a strange fade.
過去、魔術師は職業として成り立ったぐらい社会に認知されていたけど、その魔術自体は墓まで持っていく秘密だった。
You mean the far past. Like not recently.
それがどう歪んだかは知らないけど、現代ではその職業すら秘密にしなくてはならなくなった。そこまでしないと遠い未来、魔術すら消費するだけのものに解体されると教会は恐れたのよ。
Interesting.
自然界の仕組みもかつて天上の領域だった宇宙の運営すら私たちは人知で解き明かせるほどになった。人の手に余るもの、神秘という未知の領域にとって魔術が最後の砦になると教会の設立者は信じたのかもしれない。それとも魔術なんてもう意味がないって達観したのかもね。
When everyone has guns, why do we need magecraft?
そんなわけで魔術師はその正体を隠して各々の秘技を伝えていった。他人に教えるわけにはいかないから必然的にその伝承者は子孫になる。私もアリスもそうやって何代か続いた連中の末なのよ。さっき言った魔術協会っていうのはそんな細々と続いてる連中を束ねる一大組織。魔術師にとって司法の神ってところかしらね。教会もいろんな派閥に分かれるんだけど、大抵の魔術師はロンドンの魔術協会に属している。汝隠匿すべしっていうのも教会の三大原則の一つよ。魔術師が一般人に秘密を漏らすと教会から罰が下される仕組みになっている。ま、そんな罰なんかなくても自分と血族が伝えた魔術のために目撃者は消さないといけないんだけど。
And that was the end of the first part of the lecture. Alco paused for a moment. Sojiro was doing his best to process the information.
次行くけどいい？
いいけど、その前に確認したい。
Thank you.
魔術師が正体を隠すのは自分のためじゃなく魔術のためだったけど、最近では自分の正体を隠すことの方が重要になっている。そしてその決まりを破ると教会というところからお咎めが来る。つまり青崎たちもその教会に入っているのか？
いいえ、私たちはフリーよ。一応教会とつながりはあるけどね。
It never occurred to me that you could not be with the association.
単純に教会は最大勢力ってだけ。
Huh.
連中は頼まれもしないのに魔術世界全体の秩序を守ってるの。
I mean, it does make sense, but interesting.
だから私たちが何であれ彼らとの関わりがないにしても魔術師としての決まりを破ったら罰しに来るわ。
わかった。大体飲み込めた。
よしよし。そうやって自分に必要な部分だけ手に入れなさい。じゃ、次は魔術について。と言っても、私自身語れるほど学んでいないんだけどね。
Gonna pass it off to your guest lecturer?
ごめん、こっちの話だから忘れて。さっきも言ったけど、現代において魔術は無意味なものになりつつある。ライターのない大昔なら火を起こせればそれは魔術として成り立つわ。
Huh.
けど今は何かと便利でしょ。あなたならよくわかると思うけど。
That's interesting. Huh. So the concept of mystic is pretty nebulous. It just means to be able to do something that seems rare or even impossible for humans. Huh, okay. Sojiro nodded with a grim look on his face. He had been made painfully aware of such conveniences. Difficult tasks that would occupy an entire day of work in the mountains could be performed easily here. For him, having been brought up in the mountains without electricity or running water, city life was, by definition, magic. He only wished it would not be such backbreaking work to adapt to said conveniences.
でも道具を使わずに火を起こせるのは神様の仕事だと思うけど。
そのために積み重ねた手間は火炎放射器を手に入れるより面倒だとしても
Sojiro wasn't sure how to answer Aoko. He also did not know what a flamethrower was. It would have been easy for him to ask Aoko how much accumulated effort she thought it would take in humans to imitate those gods, but he knew it would come across as an insult.
さっきのを見る限り魔術ってのは何でもできると思ったけど、それは誤解なのか。
He glanced at the glass bottle on the table. Mentally, he sighed in relief. He still had not come to terms with the fact that he had been trapped inside that tiny thing. However,
あら、それこそ誤解よ。万能じゃなければ誰が魔術なんて学ぶと思ってるの？
Aoko puffed out her chest as she chided him.
手間暇かかるけど魔術にできないことはないわ。中にはできていないけどできているように見せるみたいな何らかのイカサマはあるけどね。この世界に生まれた以上、その許容範囲でできないことなんてないの。そこで魔法が出てくるんだけど、それはまた改めて。
Can we get into true magic? Because I want to talk about the true magics.
私が言いたかったのは、魔術は奇跡を起こしているのではなくて、その過程が奇跡だってこと。
Magecraft doesn't create miracles, it's the Okay.
結果が奇跡になるのは魔法の方なの。
Okay. Alright.
偉大な魔術師っていうのは、個人の魔術だけで旅客機飛ばしたりする人のこと。対して偉大な魔法使いっていうのは、今不可能なことを可能にする人のことよ。そういった意味じゃ、私たちは最後の魔法使いになるかもしれないけどね。
Interesting. Because I kept saying, they keep using the word magician when people told me, don't use that word because that's a different thing or a more important thing. Now I see.
脱線してるわよ、青子。
Alice had been listening quietly until she muttered her rebuke, as if Aoko had crossed a line.
そこまで教える必要はないでしょ。
Yeah, literally jumping into like, hey, calm down. We're scratching the surface. We're not going all in.
しずきくんに教えるべきことは、私たちと暮らす上で危険になることだけじゃなかった。
Can I just say, this is a major pet peeve of mine? In real life, I'm talking, not in media. When someone's like, can you explain this to me? And someone just goes way too huge and irrelevant. And it's like, can we focus on the important thing? Like if someone asked me, hey, what's Nier Automata about? I wouldn't start with like explaining Drakengard, you know? It just doesn't work that way. I wouldn't start with Yoko Taro. I would just start with what is the most relevant. Oh, it's a game in a post-apocalyptic world. Your robots pretending to be humans, and you're trying to prepare it for humans, right? Okay. Easy, right? I hate when people are out of their scope and scale for what they need to talk about.
悪かったわ。ちょい口滑らせた。ともかく、魔術師っていうのは、暇さえあれば魔術の実験をしてる連中で、自分の家系が伝えてきた秘技を守るためなら、鬼でも悪魔にでもなる。
Some do.
必然、そのアジト。工房って言うんだけど、工房も魔術的な機構が積み重なって、要塞みたいになっちゃうのよ。秘技を守るために、入ってきた相手を問答無用で叩きのめす仕掛けとか。この洋館も、そういった工房と同じなの。不用心に歩き回って、さっきみたいなことになったら、私でも助けてあげられないから、暗闇には気をつけなさい。気がついたら鏡の中にいるとか本気であるから。
Terrifying. He looks so sad. Sojiro so hoped they would provide him with a general idea of what to watch out for, but he passed, knowing that he was unlikely to get a straight answer.
枝葉から入っちゃったけど、要は私たちのプライベートに関わるなってこと。
Just give him a list of safe rooms.
いくら最後には記憶を消すって言っても、それを見られた段階で消すしかないものもあるから。
Like their panties. Ooh.
なるほど。
Actually, I don't think they'd
こ
care
の
as
中に
much.
もルールがあることはよくわかった。
Unless they're magic panties.
他に注意すべきことは。
His eyes wandered as he trailed off mid-sentence, pondering. He understood that the mansion was more dangerous than outside and that magecraft needed to stay secret, but the explanation seemed to contradict his current problem. For starters, how he had managed to witness something they took such pains to keep hidden.
すまない。話の腰を折るんだけど、魔術師は教会という組織で結ばれてるんだろ？なら、どうして青崎はあんな人形に襲われたんだ？
I have an idea.
あれの持ち主が魔術師なら、君たちは味方同士で争っている。
Oh god, no, buddy. Oh, they're not
何か
allies.
説明が不足していないか？
Oh, bud.
それは最後にしようと思ってたのよ。普通はここまでの話だけで眉唾者っていうか笑い飛ばすっていうか、いくら経験済みだからって魔術なんてもんをあっさり受け入れるなんてできないっていうか。
Aoko scratched her head as though troubled by how Sojiro could take every word at face value. Across from her, Alice's face betrayed no expression, but she shared the same opinion.
ん？おかしいのか？それ。
Hey, some people just go with the flow, you know?
おかしいわよ。そもそもあんたは第一ステップから変だった。
You're not wrong. What the frick is under those bandages?
普通は驚いたり怖がったり無視したりするものなのに、どうして魔法使いだなんて言った私を信じたの？
God, remember her whole thing about, like, I want to reveal that I'm a magician to just someone and destroy their world, and now she did, and he's like, oh, okay, I see, yeah, I get it. Yeah, that would piss her off. Which, again, then later, we do get the thing of, she absolutely does that reveal to Tonoshiki. In retrospect, this question should have been posed at the House of Mirrors. Back then, though Sojiro was surprised by seeing the phenomenon of magecraft for the first time, he showed no surprise or discomfort toward Aoko, the mage wielding it. Feeling the probing stares of the two girls, no, the two mages, made Sojiro feel uneasy. From where he was standing, their suspicion was suspicious in and of itself.
なんでも何もない。青崎、山だよね。あるものはあるのが当たり前なんだよ。
I guess I kind of get where he's coming from. And, like, a mountain people who don't live on electricity would be more accepting of supernatural things, right? Like, I feel like if he saw an Oni, he would just be like, oh, that's an Oni. And not like, oh, this destroys my entire perception of the world. Because your perception of the world is not as fixed. I feel like cities give you a very fixed view of the world. You know what it's like to live in the city. And cities are structured, right? But in the mountains, you're like closer to the supernatural world? Like, I don't know, it feels like that's more, it makes sense for him to be like this.
理由をつけられるだけの知識がなかったからにしても、実際に見たものを信じない、なんてことはないんだ。それに君も言ったろ。あなたにとっては魔法もライターも同じものなんだろうって。
I think this is, yeah, fair. Though they weren't really the same to him anymore, he quietly added before shutting up. What he said about those innocent days in the mountains had come from the heart, and the words resonated with not only Aoko Ozaki, but also Alice Kuonji. It was something everyone should have, principles to stand by. Indeed, to this boy, those words were an unshakable truth.
あるものはあるか。
She was impressed, if only slightly. If this boy, no matter how much of an outlier he was, could accept the things around him, he would be able to get through this just fine.
そうね。宗十郎はそうなのよね。
Because I feel like, and this is sort of true for anything, like, let's say, just for context's sake, when this video comes out, we don't have definitive proof of aliens, but if aliens were revealed to the world one day, I feel like you'd have two very different sets of people. You would have ones that go, oh, aliens. and accept it at face value. It is what it is. But then you'd have ones whose entire worldview would break down. They'd be like, what's next? Are dogs actually cats? Is Bigfoot real? Does John Cena is gay? Like, it would just cascade for them and would just destroy them, right? And someone who is less in the structure of society would have a better time accepting it, right? Like if someone in the mountains was told aliens were real, someone without electricity and a structured worldview, they'd be like, yeah, okay, right? It is what it is. It's as unnatural as seeing a black bear or, you know, a Shinto festival.
簡単に信じてもらえることが信じられないなんて私たちの方がどうかしてたわ。
Much like when Aoko met Sojiro for the first time, in that classroom on his first day, Sojiro took everything that was happening in his stride. Memory brought a bitter smile to Aoko's face. Dang, they've been talking for a while.
じゃ、気を取り直してっと。宗十郎の疑問だけどね。魔術師もいろいろあって、教会に属していない連中もいるの。こういった連中は教会の目を盗んでやりたい放題で、利益目的で他の魔術師に喧嘩を売ってくる。あの人形の持ち主もその類。
Now I know there's more puppet masters than just her. But one, I feel like it's gonna be her. And two, does she know that it's her? Or just that there is a puppet user?
私たちは都合のいい、格好のカモなのよ。私たちは教会と協定関係にあるだけで門下ってわけじゃないから。私たちが殺されたところで教会は助けてくれないしね。
No God, no they wouldn't.
でも魔術師が魔術を使うのは禁じてるんだろ？
Ah, in public.
それが公にならないのなら、教会は目をつむるわ。むしろバレなければ魔術師同士の争いを奨励してるぐらいよ。技術も使わないと錆びるってね。
That is true.
ま、私たちが襲われてるのはそれとは別の話で、単に土地を持ってるからなんだけど。
Hold the phone. This is all over a land dispute. This is the Yakuza empty lot all over again.
土地ってこの家？
まさか。この三崎市一帯の管理地の権利を持ってるのよ。私とアリスは。
For magic, not like other ways.
管理地ってつまり土地の利権？
For magic, right? Not like legally, right? Dazzled, Sojiro looked away. That's a good face. He was sure he could see a halo of light around Aoko. The money aura. He'd only been renting an apartment for 2 weeks, but he was already aware of how magnificent the prospect of owning land in the city might be.
Oh.
The word Sojiro was trying to articulate was rich. He shook all over with an emotion he did not fully grasp.
悪いけど、そういうんじゃないから。
Yeah.
私たちで土地って言ったら、魔術師としての霊地の所有権、支配権のことを言うの。
That's what it is.
うちはマイナーだけど、古くからこの辺りに根を下ろしてた魔術師で、三崎町もうちの管理下ってわけ。管理地っていうのはね、霊的な力が歪んで集まりやすい土地のこと。そういう土地は昔から貴重で、魔術の実践、実験には不可欠でもある。
Yeah, ley lines and all that.
成功への絶対条件は、優れた霊地、堅固な工房、多くの弟子たちってね。魔術師たちにとって、土地付き館付きの住み家を持つのは、一つの野望なんだから。
Sojiro let her continue while wondering exactly who these two girls were to have achieved both ambitions already.
でも、その管理地は大部分が教会に仕切られてて、もう余っている土地はないの。
Interesting. The association is snapping up ley line ownership.
はぐれ魔術師や土地のない魔術師は、教会に毎月寄付金を納めて土地を借りるしかない。ま、手よく教会のお偉いさんたちに尽くす働き蜂ってところね。
The downside of unions, am I right? I
でも
I don't know. I've only had good
ここの土
experiences
地
with
は何百
unions.
年も前から青崎のものだから教会とは関係がないの。
This is interesting that it's literally just that the association wants land.
ここまで言えばわかるでしょ。そういったフリーの連中からすれば私たちの管理地はこの上ないごちそうなんだって。
Sojiro nodded to himself, unsure whether to call the conversation mundane or outright disturbing.
よくわかった。青崎たちは土地の奪い合いをしているんだな。
I did not expect this to be the motivation.
そういうこと。ただ岬の管理地はマイナーのさらにマイナーだからやってくる挑戦者も三流ばっかりよ。今回の敵だってどっかの三流魔術師がここなら楽に奪えると思ってやってきたんだろうし、ま、それもあんたの乱入で急戦してるんだけど。
管理地の話はそれで十分よ、青子。しずきくんも他に魔術師がいると分かってくれたようだし、危険があるとすれば私たちの戦いに彼が巻き込まれる可能性だけど。
それは大丈夫でしょ。だってこいつ魔力のかけらもないじゃない。魔力感知には引っかからないし、番犬以下の人間は戦力って言わないから狙われることもないだろうし、私たちはただ忘却のルーンを見つけるまでこいつを逃がさなければいいだけでしょ。
Alice silently stared her partner down. Their ideas of involving Sojiro differed greatly in both gravity and risk. Ako's lack of experience had led her to believe that Sojiro would not get directly involved in any fighting. It was an honest and rational thought. Ako despised wasted action, so it was natural for her to expect the same frugality from her enemies. However, there were those in this world who could not tell right from wrong until it was too late.
先のことは誰にもわからないから、その時になって後悔がなければいいけれど。
With a gloomy sigh, Alice came to her feet.
ちょっと何のために長話したと思ってるのよ。一番重要なあんたの意見聞いてないんですけど。
あなたがあなたの方針を守るというのならそれでいいわ。私も好きにするだけよ。
Alice glided soundlessly to the door. As the girl in black opened it, she paused, barely lit by the dim corridor. Then, without warning, oh. To the rhythm of her footsteps, the small glass bottle floated into the air and shattered without mercy. What if he was in there?
あの時こうしておけばよかった。
Her sharp tone made Sojiro's face go pale. Alice's voice was quiet. It was hard to tell if she was being serious or mocking him.
私も言い忘れていたけど。
She icily eyed them before turning away. In a voice even colder than her gaze, stated,
まだ認めていないから。
Dang. Okay, but listen. I hope, given, like, a week, like, they're gonna be on better terms than Sojiro and Aoko. Like, I want Alice and Sojiro to be, like, bros by the end of it. There's no way it's happening. Her frigid departure seemed to forebode the many difficulties that lay ahead.
たく、往生際が悪い。
Aoko leaned back on the sofa while hurling abusive epithets. I hate that word to read it out loud. Her face looked even more irritated than usual.
見逃すのとここに住まわせるのは別問題よって。じゃあそれ以外にどんな方法があるってのよ。譲る気もなさそうだし。この分じゃ実力行使に出るかもね、あの子。
Sojiro threw a wary glance at Aoko while she grumbled. He wondered what Alice's show of defiance meant, shattering the glass bottle like she did.
宗十郎には記憶をなくしてもらうってことで話はつけたけど、心の底から納得してないってことでしょ。アリスにしちゃ珍しく他人を意識してたけど、やっぱりここに住まわせるとなると難しいみたい。寝てる分には良かったけど、起きてるあんたを見たらこう、えも言わぬ自虐心を刺激されたとかさ。気をつけてね、宗十郎。あの子、あんたを殺しに来るかもしれないから。
If anything, Aoko's warning was an indication that persuading Alice had hit a dead end.
なんか状況はあの夜からあまり変わってないようだね、青崎。
She shot him an unconcerned look in reply.
そうじゃないぞ。青崎の次はあの子がやる気満々じゃないか。さっきみたいな目にあったら逃げることもできない。こういうの生殺しって言うんじゃないか。
そうならないように努力するのね。ま、アリスの理由は遊園地の時ほど切迫したものじゃないから、そのうち諦めてくれるとは思うんだけど。
Let's hope.
青崎の時とは違うアリスの理由？
ええ、遊園地の時は秘密厳守のためだったけど、それは一応解決してる。あんたが底抜けに律儀なやつだってのはアリスだってもう分かってるし。
Oh.
なんで秘密厳守云々であそこまで反対する理由はないの。あの子は単にね、ここに住んでほしくないだけなのよ。
She really
それだけ
doesn't
で
want
ア
another
リスは
roommate.
あんたを殺したがってる。
Like, at all. She said so matter-of-factly, her eyes cold and serious. Sojiro had hoped for a trace of deceit or exaggeration, but alas.
確かにあの子はそんな素振りだったけど変だね。それならもっと他の手段を取ればいいのに。
Perhaps feeling guilty about putting Alice out, Sojiro looked uncharacteristically concerned. Ako immediately knew what his words really meant.
例えば記憶を消す魔術が見つかるまでさっきの小瓶の中に閉じ込めておくとか。
That's worse than death. The apathy in her voice until now was gone. Sojiro answered with a simple nod. In truth, it was undoubtedly the easiest solution for all parties concerned. However,
宗十郎、私約束は破らないの。覚えておいて。
she hated taking the easy way out, and that quiet fury was clear in her soft words. As for where that fury was directed, Sojiro was acutely aware. The pain in his chest made him regret making her say those words.
すまない。考えが足りなかった。
His sudden apology caused her usual sullen expression to return. Aoko had not appreciated how angry she was, let alone the reason for it. To her, his apology had come out of nowhere.
あんたってほんとわかんないわね。なんでそこで謝るのよ。
Look, some people just by default apologize, okay? Sorry, it's not something they can really control. She stared at Sojiro unblinkingly.
あれそうだな。自分でもよくわからない。多分そういう気分になったからだろう。
Look, some people have what you might call bottom energy, which I hate that phrase, but some of us just sometimes you just want to acknowledge and something you just say I'm sorry for that. Even in saying he was not sure, Sojiro had answered honestly. Aoko was at a loss for words.
ただ青崎の言いたいことは分かった。約束を守るっていうことは結果じゃなく家庭を守るってことなんだな。
Like magic! He shot her a brazenly honest smile. That smiling face, filled with blissful ignorance, almost made her smile back instinctively.
当たり前じゃない。オチだけ合ってればいいなんて恥ずかしくてできないでしょ。
Aoko attempted to cover for her embarrassment with a quick retort. Though unintentional, having her true feelings exposed like that made Aoko a little uncomfortable. Finding offense in something was second nature to Aoko. Being made to feel uncomfortable was not. Though far from being unhappy at the remark, she turned away from its speaker. To disguise her perceived shame, Aoko started up the conversation again.
あなたを見逃すって言うなら気持ちの問題じゃなくて、ちゃんと状況もそうなるようにするのは当たり前なの。宗十郎をここに住まわせることがあの約束を守ることになるんなら、厄介なアリスだって言い伏せるわよ。脅かすだけならまだしも、ずっと瓶付けなんてさせられるわけないでしょ。
そっか。青崎があの子を説得しない素振りなのはもうできるだけの説得をした後だからなのか。あ、それで彼女とは冷戦中なんだ。
別にあんたのためじゃないわ。私は私のために約束を守ってるだけだし、お察しの通り私のやるべきことはもう終わってるし、あとはそっちが努力する番だから勝手にすれば。
Huh? He replied, tilting his head.
あのね、いい？同居案をなんとか認めさせることができるのは私だけだから、2日間ぶっ通しでアリスを言い伏せもした。けどそれ以上は無理。私、ここから先はノータッチだから。しばらくはアリスから守ってあげるけど、その間にあの子にあんたを認めさせることは あんたにしかできないんだからね、宗十郎。
Gotta be nice.
なんと
Sojiro had not expected that at all. Alice Kuonji, the girl in black who kept everyone at arm's length. If Aoko was a modern-day mage in hiding, then Alice was a bona fide witch from the Middle Ages.
青崎、君自分がどれだけ難しいことを言ってるか分かってるか？
He's like, I'm an optimist, but come on.
そうね。私もこの件に関してだけは同情するわ。
Aoko stood up from the sofa. This was the end of the discussion, at least for now.
私たちがどんな人間かはおおよそ分かったでしょ。魔術に関してはこれ以上立ち入らない方があんたのためだから、説明はここまでね。で、肝心の今後の方針だけど、3ヶ月間ここで暮らす。当初の目標というより最初の試練は、なんとかアリスに同居人として認めてもらうこと。
試練って言った。今そういう類のことを言った。
Like a witch trial.
ごまかしてもいいことないでしょ、この手のことは。
Hold up. Could I take a screen cap of that? And okay, okay, hold up. Hold the phone. Hold the freaking phone. Just wait. Congratulations, you have witnessed me doing live meme creation. You're welcome. Alright, that was fun. That was good.
うまくいかなきゃ粉々なわけだし。
Don't get caught sleeping. With her cold-blooded remark, Ako started walking toward the door.
あ、そうそう。宗十郎の部屋だけど、3階に用意しといたから。2階のホールの裏側に階段があるから使って。ここは寮ってわけでもないし、時間は自由に使いなさい。
Hold up, you saying he gets the cool loft? Thank God.
ただし、西館にだけは入らないようにね。東館は私が借りてるから比較的安全だけど、それでも歩き回らない方が無難だわ。
Okay.
ま、
He gets the middle of the
基本安全なのは
house.
あんたの部屋とここだけよ。
Hold up. She gets the east wing. Alice gets the west wing. And you're saying he gets the middle, and they have the drawing room as the safe zone. That's pretty good. That's not bad.
中の説明ってまさかそれだけ？青崎はいろいろおかしい。魔術なんかよりもっと大事な説明があると思う。
Yeah, again, priorities. He desperately called out to her as she began to leave the drawing room. Aoko could not help but pity Sojiro.
せめてほら、案内とか。
面倒なんでパス。おのぼりさんを案内するなんて2回もやれば十分よ。
Dang.
起きたばっかりだし、とりあえず今日は部屋で休んだら。朝になったら学校まで案内してあげるから。もっとも、私もそう暇じゃなし。そばについてあげられるのは期末試験が終わるまでってことで。1週間以内にアリスと仲良くなるなり、弱みを握るなりしないと。
Oh.
まあ、あれよね。
With barely a wave of goodbye, the student council tyrant walked out. He unconsciously clenched the hand he had raised. Left all alone, he was at a complete loss. Then, as if to encourage him, there he is. With the sound of lightly fluttering wings, a blue chickadee appeared out of nowhere. What a yeah, he's a chubber! The tiny chubby bird innocently looked Sojiro up and down. The blue chickadee, a bird said to bring happiness according to folklore. It's the blue bird of happiness. It's not the blue robin of happiness. Flapped its little wings as if to cheer him on. Little Twitter buddy. Then with a flutter, it mercilessly flicked off the lights. Oh, bud. Oh, pal. Leaving Sojiro alone in the drawing room, Ako returned to her bedroom. She closed the door to her room, and as soon as she sat on her bed, she was overcome by an unexpected wave of exhaustion. Sojiro had no way of knowing, but she had been preparing for war. In the event that Alice impulsively pulled out a ploy, Aoko had to be ready to react in an instant. She sighed heavily, but not from the fatigue she felt at fighting with
ちょっ
Alice.
と突っぱねすぎたか？
She frowned a dejected frown. What weighed on Aoko's mind was not Alice.
でも甘くするのはあいつのためにならないし。基本おとなしくしてもらった方がいいわけだし。
It would be trouble if he wandered around like he owned the place after all. He wouldn't do that, you know that. Also looks like your eye is sparkling. The safest thing for him would be if he holed up in his room, too scared out of his wits to leave it.
青崎は味方だなんて勘違いされても困るしね。アリス同様、人でなし扱いされた方が楽だわ。
She nodded to herself, agreeing with her take on the situation. She agreed with herself? For the most part, it was a sound plan. If there were a problem, it would be this.
すまない青崎。一つ聞きたいことがあるんだが。
He's like, I gotta pee. Also, is this our clearest view of her room yet? She does like music. Like, more than I would have thought. Because not only does she have the guitar and the amp, but then we have a poster of what looks like two music artists. Not 10 minutes had passed since leaving him in the drawing room. For Sojiro to shirk off what she had said and visit her room so fast, it was like he had no sense of danger at all.
実は外に出たいんだ。
I swear to God if he says he has to go pee. Of course he would ask to leave the house. Aoko lacked the energy for a sarcastic barb.
洋館の中は歩き回らないし、用を済ませたらきちんと戻ってくる。ただ、門限とかあったら聞いておこうと思って。
What is your plan?
でも、アルバイトには行くのよね。
How did you know? Sojiro exclaimed his surprise. When it was Aoko who desired to display her shock at him.
まあいいわ。
Oh.
基本、午後10時まで。その時間には必ず屋敷にいること。その後は夜勤に出かけるなり、庭でバーベキューするなり、何でも好きにしていい。
I'm surprised that has no stipulations besides curfew. And also, knowing how curfew works in Tsukihime, it's not going to be respected.
それと、玄関に鍵はかかってないから。
気のせいじゃなければだけど。青崎、すごく怒ってないか？
あんた相手に気を使った自分に呆れ果ててるだけよ。
God, her face.
外に出るのはいいけど、その前にこの錠剤飲んで。
Sorry, what?
ん？
Sojiro took the purple pill from her outstretched hand and My man, you're not gonna ask? I wanted to immediately be like, alright, that was a test, you failed, you're not going to work. He told himself that it must have been some kind of medicine.
それじゃあ行ってくる。いろいろありがとう、青崎。
あっそ。今度は窓から出ていかないでよね。
You're not going to question it. Sojiro laughed himself all the way to the foyer, unsure of what exactly he found funny. Aoko watched him go, both indifferent and amazed all at once.
ま、予定が半日早まっただけか。あの薬を飲ませるの、明日の朝にしてあげようと思ったのに。
What do these pills do? What? She huffed, ruffling her hair in exasperation and returning to her room. Discerning what made Sojiro tick was a waste of brain matter. In all likeliness, he was more concerned about missing 2 days of work than his own well-being after being bedridden for 2 days. And this is before, like, cell phones, so you couldn't just, like, text in to say you were literally unable to work. With the day's work behind him, Sojiro returned to the mansion.
よし。どこを探しても、2階のホールから上がれる階段はここだけだ。
It was just before midnight. This was the scene that awaited him beyond the rickety staircase. Not much surprised Sojiro. Or, rather, being surprised became normal to him. This scene, however, was enough to make him speechless. The room allotted to Sojiro. No matter how he looked at it, no matter how he ran it through his mind, was without a shadow of a doubt an attic. Yes, that is usually what it is. At the top of a house. The treatment stirred a tinge of Oh, wait, is that an open window? Never mind. That does suck. The treatment stirred a tinge of anxiety in him. Just as he was about to flop on the taut sheets of his bed, wondering if he could make this work despite his share of other problems, he noticed an awkward courtesy, so meager as to be useless.
寒かったら重ねて使うこと。これはサービスとする。
Oh, a little... I have that exact blanket here. And I'm gonna say it. That thing's crap. I hate it. I hate the material. The message in the memo pointed to the meticulous personality of the author. This bed had been perfectly prepared. Carefully setting aside the blanket that had been painstakingly placed on the edge of the bed frame in case he needed it, he looked up at the sky. Oh yeah, that's straight up just open. Oh, that's actually kind of... Well, maybe there's something that protects him from it being outside. Though faint, the stars twinkled through the skylight. Oh wait, skylight? So was it... Okay, is it open or not? That's the question. For Mountain Boy, the meager light was more than enough for him. The stark contrast with the drawing room had caught him off guard, but now that he had collected himself, it was not so bad. In fact, I'd say this is what he'd be more used to. This room fit his personality, yeah. Even if he was still not used to the building, he felt more at ease here than he did in any building in the city. Perhaps because it was built on a hill surrounded by woods. The atmosphere here was a little closer to the mountains where he used to live.
でも、家の中に霧が出るのはどうなんだろう。
That's just Aoko having a fat rip of her bong. He crooked his neck, pondering over the spectacle he had witnessed. On the way to his room, Sojiro had encountered what looked like fog in the foyer on the second floor. I mean, I made the joke, but... Wait, I don't trust that. Is that an enemy apparition? The misty fog drifted into a portion of the corridor, reminding him of a swarm of mosquitoes. As he stared at it, he swore he could make out a strange landscape, and as he moved close to get a better look... Well, again, out of nowhere, here inside of the mansion, a little blue bird darted purposefully in front of him.
鳥?
The bird caught his attention, stopping him in his tracks. When he looked to check on the fog again, the strange scene had disappeared.
この家、隙間でもあるのかな。明日青崎に聞いてみるか。
He muttered to himself as he sat on the bed. Meager as it was, the starlight peeping in through the skylight calmed him.
これなら。
Exhaling slowly, he laid down. For the time being, he had the essentials needed to live, and his bed was many times softer than it appeared. Thinking his worries seemed smaller than they were, he quickly drifted off to sleep. That makes it sound like those are things to worry about. That was the story from when he opened his eyes to when he fell asleep. Just like that, the short night following the long night was over. For one thing was true. Sojiro was an optimist to a fault, but it wasn't the end of the world. That makes it sound like whatever that was is a problem. Okay. Now let us rewind 5 hours prior to this glutton for punishment going to bed. I would go insane listening to those noises. It was 7 o'clock in the evening, just after the unproductive discussion between the two mages and the boy had ended. Leaving her roommate and the intruder in the drawing room, the girl walked alone through the foyer. From there, she headed to the west wing. These were Alice Kuonji's personal chambers, in which even her roommate, Aoko Ozaki, seldom dared to step foot. The foyer was... A foyer or foyer, I'm gonna go between them. Sorry. Was illuminated only by pale moonlight. Hard footsteps echoed through the dreary moonlit lobby. In such mansions in Japan, there was no custom for removing shoes at the door, which I hate. I hate it. Though every time I watch something and it's like, oh, you know, I'm watching an anime and they're like, oh, don't worry, it's a Western style house, you can keep your shoes on. I'm like, what? No. Hence, Alice crossed the foyer in her boots. You're wearing your boots? That's so dirty. She only removed them when she relaxed in her bedroom. God, imagine the smell in those suckers. Those piggies are marinating. Suddenly, she remembered something from her childhood. I'm very sorry that you had to hear that. Sometimes it just comes out. She used to enjoy the feeling of the cold hardwood floor on her bare feet and would walk around the foyer on particularly sunny days. Okay, but no, that's why I don't like wearing shoes in the house. I love that feeling. And I know there's people that are like, how can you do that? The feeling of, walking on cold floors is worse. I'm like, no, it's a nice feeling. I like it. After her father affectionately scolded her for it, she never did it again. Oh.
そうだったわね。青子は結局守らなかった。
She let out a quiet sigh. Alice's new roommate, who she took on after coming to Japan, would not comply with her instructions.
落ち着かないものはしょうがない。
That's still such a cute little sweater. Aoko would say, changing into her slippers. Aoko might have found it natural to do so, given that she lived in a typical Japanese house through middle school, but every time Alice heard her flip-flopping through the foyer, she wanted to cancel their cohabitation. Why do you care so much? By now, Alice was not particularly bothered by it anymore. Human adaptability was markable at times, and ungracious at others. The emotional attachments of the past had proved far too brittle under the weight of reality. Bird. A little blue bird was perched on the banister. Its tiny chirping made Alice stop and look its way.
今夜は放っておくわ。今は青子の問題よ。
The lack of feeling in her voice made the bird tilt its head as it sang, "Tweet, tweet, tweet." It trilled, as though questioning its master's uncharacteristic leniency.
約束は約束よ。今夜ぐらいは多めに見ないと。青子と彼はそれだけの活躍をしたのだし。
She said to the bird, her voice betraying her discontent, "If you win, I'll let you go." She would keep that promise in spite of the unquenchable desire to fight that burned in her chest.
でもその後の処遇は別の話。条件付きのゲームに勝ったぐらいで、いつまでも得意げでいられるのは心外だわ。
Perhaps it was perfectionism born from fastidiousness, but despite her prim demeanor, Alice Kuonji was a sore loser. It did not matter to her whose magecraft was superior. Losing the game had proven hard to move on from. Look at him go! The little bird fluttered its wings in agreement. Drinking in Alice's contempt, it was itching to dive bomb the invader. It looked like a soldier saluting a superior officer as it preened itself. The blue bird turned to face its master. These are the eyes of a natural-born killer. Oh, gee, those eyes are kind of creepy. Why are they so blue? Tweet, 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 tweet. Its lighthearted tweeting seemed to display a desire to deal with Sojiro first thing in the morning.
そうね。理由さえできたのなら、瓶なり本なりに入ってもらいましょう。
Except her words lacked any bite. On the face of it, they were the chilling kind one might come to expect from a witch's lips, but then again so tame to remind you of a certain robin's flapping.
しばらくの話よ。けど、それも一時だけ。私の我慢も長くは続かないし、だいたい青子も人にかまけていられる立場じゃないわ。いつかもすれば思い知るでしょう。そうすれば。
When that time came, expelling him would be simple. Alice was well aware her roommate was a pragmatist with no vision. The situation she created would not allow her to wait around. She could only afford to protect that boy for 3 or 4 days at most. Beyond that, Alice and Ako would crack and say something like, "You take care of this,
そ
Alice."
れまで待つか。あるいは、私の我慢が効かなくな
Or
る
will he suck up?
どちらにしても、結果は変わらないわ。
Alice Kuonji would suffer no more irritations. And protecting a witness... Sorry, is that sound in-game? Okay, that sounds in-game. Oh. I was like, what the frick is that noise? Like that humming. I'm like, what is that? I don't even know if you can hear it. It's just the pitch that it sounds like it's in the room with me. And protecting a witness, let alone allowing them to live in her mansion, was an indignity. Yeah, oh, it's that. Alice looked up, fascinated by the dense fog that had crawled into the foyer. Above the fireplace was a single mirror. Roughly 3 feet in diameter, it decorated the wall where one might find a painting. Its surface was faintly clouded and vaguely reflected the foyer's appearance.
スナークをなくした影響でしょうね。
Oh, is it another
鏡の機能。
ploy?
しばらくは制御できないみたい。
The little bird joyfully chirped at its master's mumbling. The bird attempted to imply that there was no need for her to lift a finger, not if the nuisance would fall into the mirror of his own accord. Or perhaps, had the little bird had not sang, Alice would have come to the same conclusion. For some reason, she recalled an earlier conversation.
これでも一番無難だと思う。
Oh, we're going to hear what he said? In response to her question, the boy inside the bottle shrugged his shoulders and answered. From his perspective, the city and the mansion were no different. It seemed that having just moved from the countryside, everything was something he had never seen before.
自慢できることじゃないが、まだ書き物さえ満足にできないし、
Oh!
都会のルールは複雑すぎて、何が正しいのかさえ区別がつかない。
Oh, you're so countrified you don't even know how to write. Oh my god, okay. More than embarrassment, his voice was full of resentment. He was angry about something, though Alice could not tell what. But
だから、どこにいても危ないことに変わりはないんだ。極端な話、道を歩くだけでも、人と話すだけでも不安になる。俺は、どこでだろうとうまくやっていける保証はないんだよ。けど、ここにはそんな奴に気を使ってくれる人がいる。
wow.
気遣ってくれる理由は物騒なものっぽいけど、それは本当に贅沢なことだと思うんだ。
Wow, that is incredibly sad. That's a good shot. Her eyes welled up ever so slightly. Those soft words were something she could not brush off, because they made sense to her. Given that everything in the city was a danger to him, nothing had changed after coming to the mansion. In reality, he had no reason to fear this place in particular. If anything was different from the outside, it would be that someone here was his ally. That's very sad, actually. That is such a brutal view of the city that is so accurate. Again, as someone who just moved into the city myself, yeah, I get that. With that view, he had been entirely sincere. His explanation hadn't contained any flattery towards Alice Kuonji, nor nor pandering to Aoko Ozaki. He was simply speaking from the heart. I like it here.
今、鏡に迷い込まれるのは迷惑ね。鏡の機能は侵入者の探索に専念させたいし、彼が迷い込みそうになったら止めてあげて。
Okay, I see. The bird shook its feathers at the strange instruction. Alice looked away from the mirror and continued her walk. The bird chirped in
あなたの
protest.
仕事よ、ロビー。それぐらいの役には立って。
Leaving the bird with that icy retort, she vanished into the west wing. All that remained was the moonlight. And the little bird, trembling at a perilous prospect of unprecedented change. Yo, look at him. He's so small and shaky. Just seeing a bird vibrate makes me want to hug him and be like, it's okay, little guy. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Alright, for real? So I don't think we have a side chapter here. Which we would, okay, because it's 1, there's 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Alright, so that's all that there. Cool. Alright, I was going to say that'd be a good part there to say goodbye, which we will do. Thank you all for watching, guys. And next time we'll be moving on to Chapter 7. Are you for real? Which is fun. Ooh, tea time. Tea time is fun. Because last time that was just big conversations, which I enjoy. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you guys next time for some more Let's Play some game. Which on the Holy Night. Ciao, guys.